Hello, my name is Sierra Macos. You killed my brother. Prepare to die. It's the Apple Byte Extra Crunchy with your host, Brian Tom.
Whoa. Bicho, I almost want to make you do that again because it's Macos Sierra.
Sierra Macos. That's my
man,
the Princess
it's good.
Bride.
I love it. No, I love it. Welcome to the Apple Byte Extra Crunchy, everybody. This is episode, I believe it's 42. We are still cranking away here. Welcome to the show. This is everything, a complimentary piece to our Apple Byte video podcast. We live stream the show on YouTube, on live stream, and on Periscope. We're also going to do something different for the show. So first of all, we know this show is all about you all. You call in. So we have the number that we want to get your voicemails in here on anything Apple. The number is 1-800-616-2638. That is to leave a voicemail for us, okay? That's number one. But today, for this show, we're going to take live phone calls. We're going to let you call us, and we're going to get to them later in the show, but we're going to take live phone calls to talk to you, our friends, our Apple Biters, to just really kind of have a more organic conversation and be a part of the show. So we're giving that a shot. The number down there is on the video screen for those who are watching video. I'm not going to say it because audio podcasts are people that most of you listen to us. You're not going to do that. So
It'll get confusing.
it just gets too confusing.
Yes.
It just gets crazy. So we appreciate you all for coming out here. First up, again, we did have our WWDC hot take show on Monday, basically right after the keynote. And the good thing for me is everything really aligns with my gut reaction. I tend to take a balanced view, and I'm still holding my 7 out of 10 score. Beecham, where are you at with this?
I still think it's a 4. I mean,
You didn't even bump it up a couple
I'm not
notches?
bumping it up. I mean,
Gosh.
you know, looking back, I just still don't see anything that I was really excited about. So, you know.
And so I completely accept your score because there are people that were giving it like negative 10s in the chat rooms as we go on live. So what we wanted to do is kind of follow up with some of the latest news that is happening around the world of Apple, as well as follow up on some of these WWDC nuggets. Really, the top story as of right now and today is that Apple has been ordered to halt iPhone 6 sales in Beijing over a patent infringement ruling. Okay, so
Wow.
there's this picture of the iPhone 6 and 6 and 6 Plus. Next to it is a phone from Beijing. This is, I think it's called like the Bali 100C.
Oh, okay.
And they said Apple has been told to cease the sale of their handset completely in Beijing. As of now, Apple is expected to appeal it. They have appealed it to the Beijing Higher People's Court. Apple did officially announce that the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus are still on sale in Beijing, and this is pending a review by the Beijing Intellectual Property Court.
So will Apple demand that they take their phone off the store shelves because it looks like an iPhone? Like, can they just do that?
Well, here's the thing. Apple has had tricky relations with China in general. This is only affecting Beijing, not the entire, greater China.
I see.
And also, Apple's really been trying to make strides overseas in Asia, specifically
Yes.
in China.
Yes.
So if you take some place like Beijing, I think the rough population is around like 22 million people, and say we're not going to sell your phone there anymore, that affects business.
Oh, big
It's
time.
also a lot more competitive over there. There are other brands and names out there that hold more sway, and quite honestly, the Chinese market isn't as enamored with the iPhone as other markets are. One of the kind of places that Apple needs to make progress, but they've made some nice progress, but not enough to really take advantage of those. How many people are in China right now? How many billions?
I have no idea.
Is it around 2?
It's probably doubled. In the
I feel
last
like
2 years.
I feel like it's around 2 off the top of my head. But again, someone can Wikipedia that, correct me, tell us in the chat, and let us know what's going on. So that's happening over there in regards to the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. Also, we had talked about the deep blue iPhone from Monday. And I wanted to show you right now, at least, we have images of that deep blue iPhone. This is from Martin Hajek. He does a lot of cool renderings, and it's this just like a navy blue iPhone, basically.
Is this the right?
No, it's not. Did I
This
put in the
isn't the
wrong
right-
article? Oh, scroll down one. Go down to one more article.
Okay.
It's okay. I still
I
love
think
you.
I got it. I got it.
So
I got
these
it.
are like navy blue. It looks like a midnight blue
dig
phone.
that.
I know
I
it looks
dig
sick.
that.
I know it looks sick.
Dude, that is cool.
So just think of even the Apple logo is kind of like it's a monochromatic dark blue navy iPhone.
It's kind of like a Tron phone.
It's kind of like a badass.
Kinda like
It's kind of like a
Tron.
stealth phone, man.
It is cool.
I'm digging that design a lot. We already have rose gold, which is pink. Deep blue will now be basically navy. You know, look, it'll match my shirt right now.
Oh yeah.
People on Periscopes it's just a color. I know it's just a color, but it's still.
Oh yeah, here's the camera. Our broken camera is deep blue too.
That also is deep
Yeah.
blue. Here's another rumor coming out of the Asian website Blogsphere, Weibo. Believe it or not, this is very flimsy right now, but the rumor out there, according to Culta Mac, is that iPhone 7 Plus may not get the dual lens camera after all. This is based on alleged plans that Apple's decided to scrap the dual lens camera sensor on the back of the iPhone 7 Plus, according to people familiar that are working at the factory level, that they said that it's be due to the ability that it's still too immature to include in the product, which sounds kind of silly because there are plenty of dual lens cameras out there already.
Yeah.
We know that. But that's the rumor right now, and I will tell you this, it is a rumor, but if this is true, and that iPhone 7, which really the dual lens camera is the only thing it has going for itself as a new part.
I feel like I've been reading about that a lot. Like everyone's pretty positive that was going to happen and that we're going to have kind of like the Litro camera effect and stuff. So that's kind of a letdown. We're already getting let down by the iPhone 7.
There's actually, I can't even pull it up on my phone, but there's a company, I don't want to say they're called CNET, but it's like SCEENE. It's like a weird way of spelling scene. They already can use your camera right now to kind of create on your iPhone. It's an app. Snapchat just acquired them, and you can actually do the kind of that Lightroom thing where you move the camera a little bit, and once you take a picture a little bit side by side, and it gets the edges, and it looks kind of like a 3-dimensional picture.
That's cool.
So, I don't know if we necessarily need that, but yeah, it's called Scene, SEENE. I knew it. See, I knew my brain was working. SEEENE. It's called Scene.
Let's see if I can find it.
So that already kind of does the whole Litro thingy-majigger. But we'll see. I mean, who knows how this all plays out. I don't even know if that website's going to show you much, but I've seen pictures that people have taken with it. It's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. So we'll see.
Oh, this is weird.
What happens?
Kind of like augmented reality. Is this?
Well, that video is, but the actual app is totally different.
Okay.
So
Never mind.
I know, it's okay. Also, transitioning over to some of the WWDC follow-up, iOS software inside of iOS 10, it has been revealed that cool feature that I'm excited about, where you raise your phone and you can pretty much handle notifications, your messages, your emails directly on the screen without even having to unlock the screen. It looks like, according to the developers that have been able to get their hands on it, users will need an model of the iPhone with Apple's M9 motion coprocessor and beyond to support that feature. So what is that limit? Look at this. At the moment, that feature to raise to respond to your phone will only work on the iPhone 6S, 6S Plus, and SE.
Ouch.
So the current generation, it's not even going to support 3 generations of phones. It really is going to support the iPhone 7 line, or whatever they call it, the iPhone 6S line, and the SE line. It will not support the iPhone 6 line.
So they're leaving everyone high and dry.
That's pretty crazy.
Their phones are only like a year and a half old, maybe, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The iPad Pro does have the M9 processor, but the raise to wake feature doesn't appear to be supporting those devices. That's pretty crazy to me. And also the fact is that the 3D touch feature to respond to these messages, look, there's only 3D touch on the 6S as well. I hope that they at least build in support so it's a long press. I mean, really 3D Touch can be replaced with just a long press.
Yeah.
But as of now, Raise to Wake only works with the 6S, the SE, and beyond. That is skinny. That's
a bummer
that's
for
slim
people that
pickings.
use that. I don't really use that though, because I'm afraid, I'll be accidentally
I think you're gonna use it a lot.
activating it.
I think you're gonna use it a lot.
Maybe.
We'll
We'll
like you're gonna
see.
be like, instead of like having to unlock your phone, you're gonna pick it up and you're like, oh, cool, voicemail, message, call, blah blah blah. I dig that the most with iOS 10. I think it's super cool. Also, the controversy or the perceived made up controversy that Apple was going to put Android, their iMessage in Android, has been addressed specifically by Apple execs. Walt Mossberg wrote a piece about how Apple is really keeping everything still behind their walled garden, which is what Apple has always done. And here's a quote from his article. He says, "When I asked a senior Apple executive why iMessage wasn't being expanded to other platforms, he gave two answers. First, he said Apple considers its own user base of 1 billion active devices to provide a large enough data set for any possible AI learning that the company is working on. And second, having a superior messaging platform that only worked on Apple devices would help sales of those devices." Really the company's classic rationale that if it's only on Apple devices, then that's where people are going to buy them and get them. But messaging is a commodity to me now. I really can never see someone switching a platform purely because of their messaging app.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, you're right. I've never like really championed one. I just kind of use what's available most of the time.
If you're one of those people that will switch a platform purely because of a messaging app, I would like to know that. I would be fascinated if I found 1 in 100 people that would do that purely because of a messaging app. I just don't see it. So that rationale is kind of flawed to me.
Like Allo has better stickers than iOS
Yeah.
or something like that.
That's not going to happen. It's just not going to. Also, one of the big things that Apple talked about was Siri support, how they were going to open up the API. They call it Siri Kit for third-party apps. Everyone at the convention got hyped about that. It received one of the largest applauses, second to emojis. Like,
emojis are so important.
They are. It's just sad to me that that's. We'll talk about it later. I'm sure
I was being sarcastic.
No, I know you are. I'm sure some of our phone calls are going to be doing that. But what we have here in Siri support is, look, these are the only apps that Siri Kit is going to support, okay? Let me go down this list. This is directly from the developer notes. Audio or video calling, messaging apps, payment apps, searching for photos, workouts, and ride booking. So that was that whole formula where they said, oh, WeChat, I send a message to a blank person. That's a messaging app. But really, this whole Siri Kit API is only going to work for basically 5 specific kinds of apps and not across the board.
That sounds very limiting.
It is super
sure.
limiting. All those developers in there were like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
They can't even say open blank game, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Siri. Did I open up your devices?
Like the Google, when it was like, hey, Google now, show me what planets there are, in the universe. And then it showed the kid like all the planets and was like giving him information. And, stuff like that would be cool. But instead Siri goes, here's what I found about that. And you're like, thanks, Siri. I'll look it up myself.
I complained about it last week or on our last show. Siri didn't actually get much smarter. It just does more things.
Yeah.
Based on everything that we have been shown and based on everything it told us, if it got smarter, it's slightly smarter, but it's not a significant overhaul. It can't handle multi-tiered queries. It's not contextually aware from a standpoint of it knows exactly what you're talking about and can then ask follow-up questions. iOS showed how it's contextually aware in messaging when it reads the physical information in your chats, but Siri, nah, that it's not happening in Siri. And that was the biggest disappointment to me in the keynote, quite honestly. Also, dark mode in iOS 10, it looks like it's there. It looks like there's like just hints of dark mode in iOS 10. Screenshots have been taken of what's believed to be kind of files that were roughly rooted in the beta, and it's not officially done yet. but these are like resource files that indicate that, in fact, Apple has been working on dark mode for a variety of, apps and whatnot. I think Safari was one of them. iBooks, the one that we all use iBooks, Alarm, and iTunes have some remnants of dark mode. So we will see when they bring that back. Also, Watch OS, I was most impressed with the Apple Watch. I continue to say that it was the best thing, at least the best improvements that came out of WWDC. There's some kind of cool little nuggets here left over from it. Very important. There's a face gallery now, so you can actually go in and truly manipulate your watch faces. There's like a dedicated face gallery.
Nice.
You have the extra large watch faces. That's cool. You can toggle how screenshots are taken, because when you first got your Apple Watch, a lot of people would like be accidentally hitting their watch and both buttons, the digital crown, whatever, and the side button would hit and it would take a screenshot automatically. You can toggle that off. There's a lot more modular complications. Also, your Apple Watch is now part of Find My iPhone, so it does that.
Oh,
but
that's cool.
Here's what I'm excited about the most. Okay, check this out. When you tap on the Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse face watch, they will read the time in their voices.
That is awesome.
I actually think that's cool, dude.
That is cool.
I actually think that's cool, man. Hi, Steven.
It's 3 o'clock.
Oh my god.
Hi,
Steven. It's 3 o'clock.
That'd be cool if you can like set alarms and they wake you up too. Your pizza's done, Steven.
It has a variety of other little tweaks. There's a slightly tweaked Siri interface. Your friend's dial has been removed completely. It's completely gone. It was an admission that Apple screwed up on the first UI of the Apple Watch. There is really nothing similar to this. That whole digital crown is almost useless now, other than adjusting a few settings if you look at how they used it, because like zooming into the apps and all, no one does that crap. Like the digital crown was an extra, let's try and bring a throwback interface from old watches to this new watch, but it just made the OS and UI completely more complicated and unnecessary. Fine, but it was really an admission. When I saw it with watchOS, I'm happy they're doing this, but it completely told me that they acknowledged that they screwed up. The first interface was just garbage. And quite honestly, they're taking interface cues from what Android Wear is doing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Scribble.
Scribble is funny.
If I end up using Scribble, though, a lot, I'm going to take everything bad I said about it. It's one of those things that I could kind of like, poo-poo, but maybe I'll end up using it. I don't know.
Just seems so unnatural to write the same letter over each letter, It just seems weird, but who knows?
I mean, the only other way that it'll capture text messages is through your voice or through those quick responses, so you might need to do something.
Yeah.
People were criticizing us because we had never seen it when we were talking about it, and we said, how do you do a space between there? And I guess there's actually a button that's a space bar right below it.
Yeah.
People made sure to let us know that because they're smarter than us. I mean, everyone is.
They're more informed.
Yeah, they're more informed. Why not? All right, quick thing also, Safari and Mac OS. We talked about this in the show. Mako Sierra. By default, deactivates Flash and other plugins like Java, Silverlight, and QuickTime by default. And really, this is their effort to focus on HTML5 content, speed up the overall web browsing experience. That's really their goal there. So they are going to do that in Mac OS Sierra. And then there were actually resources found in Mac OS Sierra that truly hint and confirm that we're really going to see a MacBook Pro with an OLED touch bar. There are a lot of hooks that say LED, and then they have different things from like battery to different settings to different buttons. There's a long list of them.
Are these the pictures, right?
These are renderings of it, but you don't have to worry about it. There's a website that basically revealed all of these little hooks directly to that LED bar and what some of the different functions could be. If I can read some of these down here, like there's LED battery operation, there's busy, there's call pickup, there's cap locks, there's camera on, camera off. So it really appears like this is a truly morphing OLED bar, depending on the app that you're using, depending on the context. It'll be interesting to see. It doesn't make me want to run out and go buy a MacBook OLED touch bar right away, but we will see.
These renderings look pretty cool, though.
Oh, the renderings look sick.
It's pretty neat. It'll look kind of fancy, you know.
If it has Touch ID in there also, it's interesting. I just don't know if I would. I think more than anything, people are going to upgrade their MacBook not because of this OLED touch bar.
Yeah.
They're going to do it because of the new processor, the potential new storage memory system, the new generation of Bluetooth, and they just want the latest and greatest laptop. The OLED touch bar is kind of icing on the cake, but I really don't see that as a top selling reason to buy a new laptop.
Yeah, it's like just a special bell and whistle.
Exactly. Special
Bell
and whistle.
And like upgrading your car or something.
Yeah. And then we wanted to finally get to what matters here the most. This is our kind of like kicker story before we get to our phone calls. And for those of you on the phone line, we're going to get to you in a moment. So thank you for waiting. We have phone callers, which is pretty awesome. The number for our live call is right down here. But for all of you that are watching our show and want to be a part of it with your voicemail, leave your name, where you're from, and then your comment or your question at 1-800-616-2638. That is our voicemail phone number that you guys can call. Okay, before we get to that, we're gonna talk about this fun little story. Dallas Cowboys star, I'm gonna put quotations on that, breaks his elbow trying to catch his new iPhone. Okay.
I've been there, man.
Wait, you broke? What do you mean?
I didn't break anything, but I've been like diving for something and possibly hurt myself, you know, like this is a $700 piece of equipment here. You drop it on the ground, it's broken. You're going to like risk your life to save it. So I'm with him, man.
I've had a lot of close calls where it literally fumbled out of my hand and then I caught it on the way down. Like I have crazy cat reflexes. I'm like
That's
fast.
good. That's good.
I'm like ninja fast. I'm like ninja.
Like a cat.
I'm like ninja. Okay. So, according to the report, the Dallas Morning News report, Darren McFadden, former Raiders. It's McFadden.
Former Raider.
Former Raiders, always injured.
He's badass.
And he's always injured.
He's always injured.
He's badass and he's always injured.
Yeah.
He needed surgery on Tuesday after breaking his elbow while trying to catch his falling iPhone.
Oh, my God.
According to the running backs coach, he was trying to keep his iPhone S, which we presume is the 6S, his brand new one, from hitting the ground and cracked his elbow. The incident happened on Memorial Day weekend. The elbow didn't feel right when the player resumed practice. He then got it checked out. He broke his elbow.
Man.
Trying to save an iPhone. Now, he didn't break it for financial reasons. No. People are saying Jerry Jones has accepted his story. Okay, Jerry Jones, the owner. I'm just saying, we've seen a lot of athletes like break things. I fell and slipped in the shower. I was on a moped, Monte Ellis. Oh, I was doing knuckle push-ups, Kevin Love.
Who was the football player that shot himself in the leg in a strip club?
Was it Plexico?
Plexico Burress.
Plexico Burress. Yeah. Not an iPhone. That was a gun. But you... Come on, this is just a ridiculous story. You broke your elbow. I mean, what did you fall? Like you reached for it and then you like fell and then
I don't know. The other day I slipped on my son's Batmobile and I went down on my elbow. Like I used my elbow to break the fall. And so I can imagine.
You straight up like your foot
went to take a step. I was turning around, I went to take a step, stepped on his Batmobile, slid out from under me, I went down. I think I was holding my phone too.
Man down.
Boom, right on my elbow, man, and it still hurts.
See, it happens.
It happens, yeah.
It happens. I totally understand that. Okay. So let's go jump over to our phone calls. We've got, you guys are awesome.
Live callers.
Yeah, we've got a few live callers, which is really cool, but we always got our number one stunner, Mr. Shamar, coming to us from Atlanta, Hotlanta. Shamar, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on?
Welcome. You are you continue to be a first and everything. I mean, you're like the YouTube guy that says first, but instead you call first here on our show.
Hey, I'm just a virtual co-host. You got to get used to that, huh?
No, it's good. It's good. So what did you want to talk about today on the show?
Well, just wanted to go over some stuff. You guys are talking about, what you like and what you didn't like to WWDC. I give it a 6. I originally was in the 5 category, but I upped it a little bit because of what they did with Watch. And I hate to say that one of the things I love the most is the fact that I'm going to be able to delete my Apple folder, as Mr. Frenchman, a.k.a. Stephen Beaton, had pointed out. But some of the things that I'm a little peeved that we didn't get, which is why it's at 6. No control center customization. TV service is still MIA, and we didn't really get any. Until I see the music app in action, I won't judge it based on that ugly front. But I'm just like, I think it's something I have to use first before I can judge that one. But I don't know. It was like even kill. It wasn't nothing exciting, but nothing that was like, ugh, So I'm just kind of in the middle.
Here's my logic to why I gave it a 7. To me, a 5 would have been like a 7 is a C. A 7 is a passing grade to me. An 8 is too positive, but a 7 is like, all right, maybe a 6, but I felt like a 7 because I was actually really impressed with how they completely acknowledge that the Watch OS from the beginning is poo-poo, and now it's completely different. They shouldn't even call it Watch OS, right? It's a completely different beast, which I appreciate that they acknowledge that without actually saying that. The fact that there was no iPad Pro anything in the keynote was just absurd. Was just even iPad in general was just absurd to me. I think that was just even though some people might say, "Oh, well, they're gonna show it off at the next iPad announcement," but the thing is, this is WWDC. This is software. This is where it's supposed to be. You can always release another product later, like this MacBook Pro with an OLED Touch Bar that we're gonna see eventually this year, most likely. We know the software that's going to be in there. The only thing we don't know is about that OLED Touch Bar. That's fine. They will show us that. That's more of the actual Touch Bar than it is the OS. They gave us nothing for the future of computing. Those are Apple's words. So when they act all cocky and brash and brazen and they tell us these things, then they need to deliver in some way, shape, or form. And that was really their biggest miss. But I did like what they did in other areas. tvOS and was minuscule, which is fine because there's not really too much to work with there. But I do think I'm going to use a lot of stuff that iOS put in there, so that's why I gave it a 7.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and it's hard, like you said, as far as the iPad. I mean, I bought it in November, and I'm like, okay, I don't have multi-user accounts is not in general population, just for education. But when you spend over $1,200 for a device, and you're not really seeing anything other than what's out there basically for the iPhone for it, it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So it's just part of that is just like, okay, you have this device that's at $1,000 that basically you could have been using iPad mini and still got the same stuff. So
absolutely. All right. Hey, Shamel, thanks for calling, my man. All right.
Not a problem. You guys have a good time. Talk to you soon.
All right. Talk to you later, man.
Hey, Shamel, I learned my lesson when I bought the iPad 3rd generation and they put out the iPad 4 6 months later. Learned my lesson.
You're like,
a couple years ago.
I'm not going to buy an iPad for a long time, and I don't need to. Let's go talk to Kyle from the UK. Kyle, welcome to the Apple Byte Extra Crunchy. How can we help you today?
Well, Brian, I was wanting to ask you. There's no question about it, Mac is not made for people who game. So my major question is, a lot of my friends say they will never get a MacBook unless they improve the performance and make it more gaming-oriented and make it more changeable. So what I'm wondering is, do you think there will ever come a time to WWDC where they will announce a gaming-oriented Mac?
I think that because of how the product has been aligned, Apple has chosen deliberately to let developers that want to create games for them do it, but it's never going to be a focus for them on the MacBook platform, specifically on the Mac side, right? You'll have, games like Warcraft, some of like the MMOs though, they're not coming to the Mac, and I just don't think they will. And Apple doesn't really care per se. They've shown that they don't care. They're more about that general user consumer base and that graphic artist consumer base. They just don't seem to care about gaming other than their iOS platform. And because of that, they'll always throw us like a mini bone specifically to the iPhone, but you've never seen them throw us a big bone when it comes to desktop gaming or computer gaming. And so I just don't think it's in their DNA, and I don't think they really care, and I don't think it's a priority, and that was reinforced this year as well. So unfortunately, for your buddies that say, oh, yeah, I'm never going to get a Mac until they support gaming, they're probably still not going to get a Mac anytime soon.
Yeah. Unless they like Sling. What is that Sling? What is that game? Infinity Blade. Right?
Infinity Blade on the iPhone. Yeah. So unfortunately, I don't see them changing that aspect of them. But thanks for calling. All right, Kyle.
Thanks.
Okay, we're gonna go hit up Matthew here from Michigan. I'm gonna ask him to turn. Hey Matthew, turn down your volume on your computer, and you are good to go. You're here on the Apple Byte Extra Crunchy. What's up? Okay.
I think we lost. Oh, yep, we lost him.
It's all right. Let's just do one more last call. Jordan in Utah. Jordan, what's going on? Welcome to the Apple Byte.
Hey. Is this live?
You're live, my friend. What's going on?
Oh, hey, sorry. I guess my stream was off. Hey, it's going good. So yeah, I just wanted to address the Raise to Wake feature. I have been using it on iOS 10 beta, and I have mixed feelings about it. I love it when I want to use it, but I find that it comes on way too often. Like when I'm just picking up my phone to, just pick it up off the table, or using the flashlight, things like that, my screen is always coming on.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah. And I feel like it's actually affecting my battery life too.
Ooh.
Like I've noticed a difference because my screen keeps coming on all throughout the day. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think that those are all great points. The only reason why I don't have the beta is because I really just want to get the watchOS beta, but then I have to update my phone, but I don't have a backup phone. I don't want to put it on my primary phone yet personally. That's just how I've always been, because certain apps lose their hooks. I think you're right on the money, and I don't know if they're going to optimize the battery consumption, but like you said, it always turns on your screen. And I didn't think about that until now, about there's times where you don't want to look at everything, and there's times, maybe there's a way, and they should figure this out, where they can tweak how often maybe certain notifications show up. I know it's hard to be super granular because the whole goal is, hey, you got a text message or you got a email, but maybe instead of every time you pick it up, you can choose to see that maybe every half hour or an hour, unless you're the type of person that really needs to see everything at the same time. I mean, what has been probably the most annoying thing about it to you, and maybe what's the best thing about it to you?
The most annoying thing is just, I walk around a lot with my phone in my hand. It's not always in my pocket, and I feel like my phone is on all the time. I'm always hitting that sleep button again, just to turn it off. I feel like if they, just like Apple Watch, if they had more of a specified motion to raise it and wake it, if it was, if it's in a certain orientation and you raise it up, then it turns on.
You go like this, like.
Yeah, like a figure eight, like a figure eight or something,
Yeah.
around a circle around your face.
Or you just shake the phone, like, turn on.
Yeah, something a lot more specific, because I feel like any time I move my phone, it turns on. But I do like it, like I said, when I want to use it, when I'm just sitting on the couch watching TV or something, I just want to check the time, I pick it up, and there it is. And so it's really convenient for things like that. But it's, right now, I almost feel like my phone's on all the time.
Yeah, I hear you. And you know what? I really appreciate you calling live. This is exactly what we're looking for, because people out there, guess what? We're all part of this this hive mind of knowledge. And so I just really appreciate you calling in and giving us some insight of your experiences, because you actually have the developer beta on your phone. So thanks for calling, Jordan. I really appreciate that.
So some people in the YouTube chat are pointing out, thanks for calling. Some people in the YouTube chat are saying that the battery drainage might be because it's a beta.
Yeah,
and it might be optimized later.
Yeah,
so
that's what
kind of something to think about.
Yeah, that's what I referred to earlier. I do think, though, no matter what, it's still going to use more power, but they'll need to work on optimizing that better.
Yeah, definitely.
And Jordan's seen it the most. We're gonna do one more call here, live call. It looks like our friend Sheba from Las Vegas. And the key thing is, just remember, guys and gals, just turn down the volume of your computer, and then we can talk to you. Welcome to the Apple Byte Extra Crunch. What's up, Sheba?
Hi, Brian. I was just wondering, what were your honest opinions on the new, how you were talking about the MacBook Pro with the new OLED display on the keyboard? What was your honest opinion on when you found out it was wasn't going to be released this WWDC, and when do you think it's going to be released?
So my first gut reaction was just a huge miss, just because, and maybe it's not ready, okay? At the end of the day, I don't want any company, whoever you are, to rush out a product just because. I think you actually lose audience excitement when you show something that is half-baked and then we wait 6-7 months to see it, and then people have kind of, unfortunately, because of how we are these days, people end up just going on to the next thing, right? Yeah. So I'm actually okay with them waiting. I just thought it was disappointing from a standpoint of like, look, we kind of expected WWDC to be software heavy. The MacBook Pro has been featured in past WWDCs. The Retina display came out for the first time at WWDC. We've seen them release hardware there before. I feel like the perception around Apple right now is that they're just not doing much. And so, and just to break that chain or break that cycle would have been helpful. But again, if it's not ready, it's not ready. I do feel, though, that this second half of this year is, at least from a product standpoint of announcements, going to be gangbusters. I think we're going to have a MacBook Pro. We're going to have new iPhones. We're going to have a new watch. I hope that we see something from the Apple TV. We might see an Apple voice-controlled type Echo device. I don't think we will this year, but we might. So there's just a lot of hardware that's coming. Everyone loves hardware because it's something they can buy, of course. I wasn't disappointed. I just thought it hurt the perception of where Apple is at today more than anything else.
Yeah. I have one more question by any chance. Okay. So when you were saying, actually, I think last year you were like saying this upcoming 2016 year for Apple, they're going to not be that innovative. Do you think they were very innovative in terms of software this time around with iMessage?
Well, definitely not with iMessage. I mean, unless you really like the invisible ink thing, and I'm just worried. I'm going to be very scared every time someone sends me an invisible ink picture. Yeah. Like, I don't want to. I'm going to be on eggshells. Let's just be honest. I don't know if I'm going to want to swipe on that thing. I just felt like if you watch the keynote, and for those people that are really like hardcore, tech enthusiasts that are on other platforms, they're going to say like, wow, Apple did a lot of what everyone else has. And Apple users are going to be happy with this because this is stuff they've never seen. But I didn't really see I mean, of course, I could go down a list, but there was no major improvements that you said, wow, Apple is taking the next step in software. Typically, Apple has really been able to marry software and hardware together. And so what I wanted to see is maybe new ways of using 3D Touch, but we didn't really see that, right? This is supposed to be their new interface, but what new things can you do with it?
Some of the widget stuff.
Yeah, the widget stuff.
With the 3D Touch. There were a couple more new features for 3D Touch, but not, like you said, as much as you would have expected.
I mean, unfortunately, I do feel like 3D Touch is a thing where you can just put in a long press to replace 3D Touch, and then 3D Touch becomes obsolete. So, not obsolete, but 3D Touch doesn't become as big of a deal. And then if you're going to really piss off people and say you can only use the Raise to Wake and interact with your notifications only with a 3D Touch phone, that's a big no-no. So I don't think they can do that either. Their maps were like catch-up. A lot of their stuff was catch-up, and I understand.
Yeah, I have the developer beta right now, and I'm kind of it's pretty okay for now. There's a lot of of course there's going to be a lot of bugs, things like that. But right now I'm it's currently I'm kind of liking it. So
on your phone,
on my phone.
I have the developer beta for MacOS. And it's nice, you like the everyone loves the MacOS, but I'm using that just because I can partition my hard drive and then put on there, and the Siri. The thing is, I don't use Siri that much, so I think I have to teach myself to use Siri more if I'm going to really take advantage of it there, on that side, and so then really the continuity with the iOS devices to the Mac is really some of the biggest advantages, the copy and paste, the hooks of that nature. So when I play with MacOS, I can't even say it right. I can't even say it correctly now. When I play with Mac OS, it just seems like, a few nice things, but nothing that I feel like, oh my gosh, even Mac OS doesn't feel like a huge improvement or anything like that. It just really doesn't, right? Tabs in something like the Maps app doesn't affect me. I don't even use the Maps app for Apple anyways.
Never.
No one on your Mac, I really don't know many people that use the Maps app on the Mac. I don't know anyone that does.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that
to be honest,
existed.
yeah, you're right.
So from that point, that felt like a very subtle update, just because I'm using it every day.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised because I'm a fellow YouTuber, and so I was kind of surprised that they didn't release any new software for Final Cut Pro, and the other professional apps. Do you think they're going to ever update those professional apps ever?
I think they're having an identity crisis where they're pushing all these resources to other things. Like maybe the iPad Pro lost its thunder because they pushed everyone over to watchOS, and they're like, we got to get this, we got to get this. So I think from a manpower standpoint, there's always going to be something that drops off. I mean, what has happened to their pro apps, Final Cut Pro, Motion, and all that stuff? I mean, they feel like they're the ignored stepchild, and I get it. They don't have the largest market share, but Apple is supposed to be catering to creatives, and they delivered on, they gave us the Final Cut Pro X/iMovie Pro.
Yes.
A couple of years ago, and we haven't seen anything very drastically different from it other than it supports 4K video now. I use the app, right? So they are, I feel like they're losing that passionate audience who is, a lot of us even here at work have transitioned over to Premiere now.
Yeah,
you don't want to hear that if you're Apple.
We even tried out that final, like everyone in the office, we tried it out for a few weeks, and we all decided like we don't like it. We're gonna use something else.
So we'll see what happens. But hey, Shiba, it's Shiba, correct? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, it's Shiva. And also, by the way, can you go check out my channel? It's the Nintendo card.
Sorry,
he's like, oh, no pimp.
Come on.
So, anyways,
thanks for calling though.
No, thank you. That was a great call. I think I'm going to. I think that was like 5 calls, so I think we should just wrap it up. Yeah,
that's a lot. Yeah.
You know what?
I'm
gonna tell you right now. We appreciate all you live callers. The Periscopers may not as much because they can't hear, but we still have our lines filled right now.
I'm gonna figure that out. I think I can get an input into your phone that will get the stream, like all of our audio here into the. Periscope.
like a direct.
I can
input?
figure it out. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll work on that for the Scopers. But other than that, thank you everyone for calling, and for those of you waiting on the phone line, if we can get this live call thing up, I think it's working out nicely. We have like kind of a cool flow and cool conversation with you. We will do that. Again, it's the Apple Byte Extra Crunchy, Extra Munchy, with my co-host, producer extraordinaire, Stephen Beecham.
Howdy, y'all.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Peace.